My name is Luce Hughley. I'm 33, the older sister, the fixer, the one who remembers renewal dates, reads the fine print, and can put a number to the feeling you call just a little behind. I don't have a husband. I have a boyfriend, Daniel, the kind of man who doesn't speak over my thoughts. We have one son, Theo, who still calls sprinklers sparkles and believes pool noodles are sea dragons. The text pinged at 10:14 a.m. while I was coaxing Theo's shoes on. It was from my sister Jade. Don't come. It's for VIP kids only. Yours can watch online. I read it twice. Then the phone dimmed and reflected my face back, an outline I barely recognized. Jaw set, eyes steady. The word VIP floated like a helium balloon that had lost its string. Pretty, pointless, already sinking. Behind me, Daniel rinsed coffee cups. Everything okay? I didn't answer right away. I scrolled up to the thread. A week earlier, $3,700, I'd transferred to Jade. Emergency pool deposit due today, please, please. Sponsors, lifeguards. We'll pay you back Friday after the collab posts clear. My thumb hovered over the screenshot of the transfer confirmation. That neat green checkmark, as clean as a promise. That same day, she'd asked for my utility login again. The gas portal keeps bugging. Can you just fix it one last time? It's never the last time, it's just the next time wearing perfume, I called. She answered with a laugh that sounded like a hiccup. Luce, hi, we're swamped. Please don't make this a thing. You uninvited Theo. Don't be dramatic, she sing-sang. It's a curated head count. There's a brand on board. Balloons, a photog, the whole vibe. We can't have chaos. Influencer kids first. You can watch the live stream link. Jade, I said, and her name came out like a slow-drawn thread. It's Liam's birthday. He's Theo's cousin. Exactly, she said. Family supports family. Don't make it about you. Family supports family. My mother's favorite spell. I used to let it soak into everything until I forgot how much it cost. In the hallway, Theo flapped his towel like a cape. Pool day? Not anymore, buddy, Daniel said gently. We might do sparkles later. Jade's voice smoothed itself into faux compassion. Luce, you know how brands are. They want recognizable faces for the real. Recognizable to who? I asked. You took my money for this. That was a general contribution, she said, words polished and slippery. Do we need to itemize family now? I almost laughed. The irony rang like a bell only I could hear. There's a drawer in my head. It slides open with a soft, satisfied click. Inside, dates, transfers, email confirmations, a photo of me under a kitchen sink replacing a coupling I bought for $6, a screenshot of the day I added their Wi-Fi to autopay because Liam was coming and I couldn't stand the thought of my nephew sweating through a summer blackout. The drawer is organized, not out of obsession, out of survival. Numbers don't shout, they wait. Jade, I said, last Tuesday you asked for $3,700, pool deposit and lifeguards. I sent it that hour. You also asked me to fix gas autopay one last time. That's unrelated, she clipped. Luce, please don't sabotage this. Theo's 3, he'll be fine. Send a cupcake emoji. Be proud of us. Be proud of us. As if us included me when the cameras were rolling, but not my son when the gate was counted. Daniel set a mug down, the sound more warning than noise. He didn't speak. He just watched me, waiting for whatever came next. He's that kind of man. Calm before and after storms, but never in the middle. I'm hanging up, I said evenly. Love you, she chirped, like love was a stamp you could slap on a box and call it shipped. The kitchen returned to its small morning noises. Fridge hum, clock tick, Theo's whispered conversation with his dragon noodle. Daniel leaned on the counter. You're calm, he said. I am. It felt like standing at the edge of a pool at night. Black glass, no ripples, knowing the depth by the way your stomach drops. What are you thinking? Nothing loud, I said. Not yet. I used to think fixing was love in action. When Jade moved into her brick and fern studio and posted iced coffees like they were altar offerings to the algorithm, I sent $600 for rent and pretended my chest didn't tighten when my own grocery list got shorter. When she got engaged, I built the flower arch, labeled the breaker panel, returned things that never had deposits. When she and Evan bought the ranch house from our uncle at a sweetheart price, I sat on hold for 2 hours to set up the gas account because her credit card kept glitching. For the first 2 months, she reimbursed me. By month 3, she said, emergency, cracked tile, and my reimbursement became a ghost haunting my checking account. The pattern hardened like grout. I installed a smart thermostat so the baby wouldn't roast in August. I chipped in for a pool gate because sleep wouldn't come if I pictured Liam toddling near water. I kept receipts, not for court. Funny to think that now, but so I wouldn't let anyone edit my memory. You're going to ask for the money back, Daniel said quietly. Eventually, I answered. It never comes with them. I know. I stroked Theo's hair as he parked his dragon on my foot. Then I'll make it arrive. That afternoon, the family chat lit up with Jade's blast. VIP splash tomorrow. Dress code. Neutrals, beige, white. Parents not on the list will be redirected to street pickup. Live stream link for supportive family. Supportive. The word rattled in my ribcage. Dad replied, proud of you, kiddo. Someone else hit the fire emoji. No one asked about Theo. No one asked about the deposit. Mom called. She skipped hello. Honey, don't take this personally. Sponsors need things. You know your sister. She uninvited Theo. He's little, Mom said gently. He won't remember. That's not the point. I swallowed hard. She used my money, my logins, my time, and told us to watch from home. Family helps family, Mom soothed. The phrase tried to do its old trick. Slide into my bloodstream, blur the edges, erase the math. But something in me had cooled into backbone. Being family, I said, isn't a subscription to my utilities. When I hung up, I opened that mental drawer and laid everything out on the kitchen table in real life. Printouts of payments, email confirmations, the Venmo screenshot with confetti icons, the gas account page with balances that didn't belong to me. Daniel watched quietly, the way someone watches delicate restoration work, with patience and respect. Luce, he said softly, what's the line? This, I said, right here. He nodded once, then draw it in ink. I picked up my phone. My thumbs didn't tremble. I typed, we won't be there. Refund my $3,700 by Friday. Also, I'm ending my coverage of your utilities today. Please transfer everything into your name. I didn't press send yet. I waited until I could hear my own breathing. Theo's dragon fell off my foot. He giggled. Outside, a sprinkler hissed to life across the street, the sound of something ordinary and unbothered. Numbers don't shout. They wait. Switches don't argue. They click. I pressed send. Sparkles later? Theo asked. Yes, I said, and it came out as a promise. Sparkles later. When you grow up being the responsible one, people mistake your silence for agreement. They assume that if you're not shouting, you're fine with it. But silence in my world is accounting. It means I'm balancing the columns in my head. What's owed, what's spent, what's broken beyond repair. That night, after Theo fell asleep, I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop open and Daniel beside me, quietly scrolling through property listings for distraction. He didn't comment when I began opening folder after folder. Screenshots, receipts, Venmo logs, electric bills that had my name at the top and Jade's address underneath. Every line item told a story. Every payment was a favor, dressed as love. I wrote it all out in a spreadsheet, neat, calm, bloodless. Date, amount, reason, outcome. Daniel glanced over. You're making it real. I'm making it visible, I corrected. There's a difference. On one side of the table lay the paper trail. On the other side, a birthday invitation with gold foil lettering, Liam's VIP splash. Jade's handwriting on the envelope. My money behind the design. At 10:07 p.m., my phone buzzed. Mom. Honey, don't escalate this. Jade is under so much pressure. She said you're threatening to cut off utilities right before the party. Pressure. That word again. The Family Dictionary defined it as Luce's problem to fix. I typed back. Not a threat, a correction. Then I sent it and powered off my phone. Morning arrived humid and clear. Theo sat on the floor, building towers, out of cereal boxes, while Daniel read the news. I poured coffee and opened my inbox. 5 new messages from Jade. 1. Can we please talk? 2. This is not the time for boundaries. 3. Mom's crying. 4. Sponsors are watching. 5. We'll pay you back next month, okay? Please don't ruin this for us. I sipped my coffee. Next month had been every month since 2019. Daniel leaned over. What are you going to do? Exactly what I said, I replied. I logged into the utility portal. Balance due, 3 months unpaid. Account holder, me. Household, Jade and Evan. I took a deep breath, clicked End Autopay, and waited for the confirmation email. A small box appeared. Are you sure you want to cancel automatic payments? Yes, I was sure. For the first time in years, I was sure. I screenshotted the confirmation and filed it under closure. An hour later, the family group chat exploded. It was titled Hugely Hearts. The irony could have powered the grid I'd just disconnected. Jade. Everyone heads up, Luce is being vindictive. She's canceling our power and trying to sabotage Liam's birthday. Dad. That can't be right. Luce? Mom. Sweetheart, please fix this. It's a child's party. Cousin Amy. Wait, didn't you say Luce helped with the pool deposit? Jade. It was a family contribution. Me. Then treat it like one. Shared, not stolen. Silence. Then Daniel sent a single message. Boundaries aren't sabotage. They're overdue bills finally paid. No one responded, but I saw the read notifications line up like blinking eyes. At noon, Jade called. Her tone had changed. Lower. Sharp. You think this is funny? No, I said. I think it's necessary. You're going to humiliate us in front of sponsors. Liam's name is attached to this. Then you should have attached your own name to your utility accounts. She went silent for a beat. You're cold. Not cold, I said. Just done being the heater everyone else runs for free. She hissed. You're unbelievable. I'll tell everyone what you did. Good, I said. I have documentation if anyone's confused. She hung up. Daniel looked at me. You okay? I'm fine, I said, even though my pulse disagreed. Then I looked at Theo, still playing on the floor, humming to himself. He didn't understand the concept of bills or boundaries yet, but someday he would. And I wanted him to remember his mother not as a doormat, but as a woman who finally closed the door. That evening, Jade's final text arrived. You'll regret this, Luce. I swear you will. I didn't reply. I didn't have to. Because the kind of person who sends a threat like that doesn't realize that regret only belongs to those who second-guess their truth. And mine had already been stamped, dated, and backed up in 3 folders. I tucked Theo into bed, his tiny hand clutching the tail of a stuffed shark. He whispered, Auntie Jade mad? Maybe, I said softly. But sometimes being mad at someone means they finally told the truth. He nodded, not understanding the words but catching the rhythm of safety in my voice. Outside, the night hummed like a generator, the one thing still running in my life. Tomorrow was the party, and tomorrow everything would go dark. The morning of the VIP splash began like any other Saturday. Theo clattering cereal bowls, Daniel humming off key while making coffee, sunlight spilling across the tile floor like a calm before something electric. By 10 o'clock, Jade's social media was already buzzing. She'd posted a countdown. VIP splash begins in 1 hour. So grateful to our sponsors, Liam turns 4. Brand collab. I watched it without emotion. The comments filled fast. Beautiful setup. So classy. Mom goals. All smoke. No structure. Daniel glanced over my shoulder. You don't have to watch. I know, I said. I just like to see what borrowed money looks like in high definition. He gave a low whistle. That's poetic and terrifying. I smiled faintly. So am I. At 10:17 a.m., my inbox pinged. Utility closure confirmation. Water, electric, internet, transferred successfully out of my name. 1 click each. Click, click, click. Every sound felt like the soft snap of a thread I'd been tangled in for years. Theo toddled over, holding a pool float shaped like a dolphin. Mama, we go swim? Not today, sweetheart. We'll do sparkles in the yard after lunch. He looked disappointed for a moment, then shrugged. Kids are good at adapting when adults stop pretending. At 10:41, my phone vibrated so violently it skidded an inch across the counter. Jade. Incoming call. I didn't pick up. Then another. Then another. Daniel raised an eyebrow. That's 3. 4, I corrected as it rang again. Finally, I answered. Hello. Luce, what did you do? Her voice came in waves, panic wrapped in outrage. Behind her, I heard commotion, crying, someone shouting about the router and the water pressure. What's wrong? I asked evenly. The Wi-Fi's down, the power's flickering, the pool filter stopped. Evan says the payment failed. Did you forget to... No, I said. I remembered exactly what I said I'd do. You're seriously ending everything today? I told you Friday. It's Saturday. Luce, there are kids here, guests, sponsors, they're watching. I breathed in through my nose. Then maybe they'll finally see who's been paying for your picture-perfect life. You're humiliating me. I'm reminding you what accountability feels like. She sputtered something about reputation, about how she'd fix it, about ungrateful sisters who make everything about control. Then came the question I'd been waiting for. Did you send the money? No, Jade, I said, calm as glass. VIPs pay their bills. And then I hung up. Daniel exhaled. That was brutal. She's been taking for years, I said quietly. Sometimes the only way to teach people the value of something is to make them feel the absence. We sat in silence, listening to the air conditioner hum, a sound I suddenly appreciated deeply because it was ours. Paid, managed, respected. Theo wandered in, dragging his dolphin float. We clap now? For what? Daniel asked with a grin. For show, Auntie Jade's show. I hesitated, then opened Jade's live stream link on my laptop. The video loaded, stuttered, then froze. Jade mid-sentence, hair perfect, smile cracking as the frame pixelated into stillness. Theo clapped his little hands. All done. I laughed softly, a sound that started in relief and ended in something like grief. At 1 p.m., the family group chat exploded again. Dad, Luce, the party stream crashed. What happened? Mom, honey, fix this. Everyone's watching. Jade, she did this on purpose. She's jealous. Theo's not even here. She doesn't care about family. Me, I care enough to stop being your unpaid sponsor. Mom, don't talk like that. Daniel, they told our son he wasn't VIP. That's not family. That's branding. No one replied after that, but I saw the typing bubbles appear and vanish. By late afternoon, Jade had gone completely silent. I imagined her standing in that echoing backyard. Cameras off, guests sweaty, balloons sagging, and the expensive cake melting in the heat. I didn't feel triumph. I felt peace. Boundaries, I realized, don't always roar. Sometimes they whisper enough. Theo ran through the sprinkler in our yard, shrieking with laughter. Daniel filmed him on his phone, the water sparkling in arcs around them. This, he said, feels better than any pool. I nodded, because it's paid for in full. At sunset, I received one more text. No greeting, no punctuation, just, you win. I stared at it for a long time before replying. It wasn't a game. Then I turned off my phone. I sat on the porch with Daniel, watching the light fade, feeling the air cool around us. Tomorrow, I knew, Jade would start spinning the story. She'd call herself the victim, me, the villain. But somewhere between the silence and the screenshots, the truth was already documented. For the first time in years, I felt like the electricity that kept my life running actually belonged to me. And that was enough. By Sunday morning, the storm had moved from Jade's backyard to the internet. Her Instagram story was a collage of damage control. Blurry pictures of kids splashing in a half-filled pool, captions about resilience, and a quote graphic that read, "Some people can't stand to see you shine, but the light always finds a way." Daniel showed me his phone. Guess you're the villain of the day. I shrugged. Villains don't send lifeguards and pay gas bills. He smiled wryly. You should embroider that on a pillow. By noon, there was a knock on our front door. Hard, rapid. Daniel opened it. Evan stood there in a linen shirt stained with what looked like frosting and chlorine, a printed invoice clutched in his hand. He didn't bother with greetings. This is half the cost of the party, he said. Jade says you need to pay it. I blinked. Come again? You cut the power, he snapped. We had to rent generators, order bottled water, replace food. You mean, I said evenly, you had to pay your own bills. Don't play word games, Luce. His face was red. She's your sister. We thought you'd support her big day. Daniel stepped closer, his voice calm but firm. Support doesn't mean unlimited access to her bank account. Evan's jaw clenched. We'll take this to small claims. Perfect, I said. Bring the receipts. I have mine. He hesitated. The wind shifted, carrying the smell of melting frosting and failure. Finally, he shoved the paper at me. You'll regret this. No, I said, taking the invoice and folding it neatly. I'll file it under entertainment. Daniel's voice hardened. You should go, Evan. Evan glanced between us, eyes flicking to Theo, peeking from the hallway, clutching his dolphin float. For a split second, guilt flickered across his face. Then he turned and stalked off down the sidewalk. When the door closed, Daniel exhaled. That guy's one motivational quote away from a breakdown. I laughed. Not kindly, just tired. They built their whole house on borrowed goodwill. It was bound to collapse. That evening, I drafted an email. Subject, outstanding balances and transfer confirmation. Hi, Jade and Evan. Following up on previous messages. Utilities have been successfully transferred to your names as of Saturday morning. Please note the balance owed to me totals $3,700, due by Friday as previously agreed. Failure to complete payment will result in a small claims filing. I've attached itemized records for transparency. Best Luce. I CC'd Uncle Greg, who had sold them the house below market rate, and attached PDFs of every transaction. It wasn't vengeance, it was documentation. Daniel watched me hit send. You're really doing it. Doing what? Reclaiming your time. By midweek, the family group chat had split into factions. Some relatives posted prayer hand emojis under Jade's resilience posts. Others texted me privately. Honestly, good for you. I didn't realize how much you'd been covering. You just inspired me to cancel my brother's Netflix account. Each message felt like a small match, flickering in a dark hallway. People were starting to see it. The quiet ways families exploit their responsible ones. Mom called again, voice shaking. You made your sister cry. She made herself cry, I said gently. I just stopped cushioning the floor. She's saying you're suing her. I said I'd file if she didn't pay by Friday. Mom hesitated. She sent you something. I checked my phone. 3 notifications from Jade's bank app. Deposits incoming. $1,000. $1,000. $1,700. No message attached, just the note field. For your precious ledger. Daniel leaned over my shoulder. She paid in full? She did. Then it worked. Not just worked, I said. It reset the balance. And not just financially. That night, I printed one last sheet for my records. Paid in full. I slid it into the folder and locked it in the cabinet. Theo toddled into the living room, holding a sparkler Daniel had found leftover from the 4th of July. Can we do sparkles now? He asked. Daniel smiled. Let's go outside. We lit the sparkler together, its brief flame throwing gold over the porch railing. Theo giggled and twirled, tiny sparks fizzing like applause. For the first time in months, maybe years, my shoulders loosened. The air felt lighter. My home felt like mine. And somewhere in the distance, I imagined Jade scrolling through her phone, seeing the same thing I did. Nothing left to take. Friday arrived quiet. The kind of quiet that used to make me anxious, like silence before a request. But this time, it was the good kind, the silence of a settled balance. The $3,700 refund had cleared. The utilities were no longer in my name. The family group chat was still split, half avoiding me, half secretly relieved. I didn't owe anyone an explanation, but part of me wanted closure, not chaos. So I wrote one final message. Loose. I'm not angry. I just needed things to be fair. Going forward, please manage your own accounts. No more temporary transfers or emergency deposits. Love doesn't mean auto-pay. I hit send. Then I muted the group. Daniel exhaled softly. That sounded final. It is, I said. At least until someone learns what the word responsibility means. He smiled. And if they don't, then I'll teach by absence. That afternoon, the doorbell rang. When I opened it, Mom stood there holding a casserole dish. I made lasagna, she said, avoiding eye contact. Daniel took it from her and thanked her politely, then disappeared into the kitchen to give us space. Mom wrung her hands. Your sister says you hate her. I don't, I said simply. I just stopped sponsoring her. She's humiliated. The neighbors... Mom, I interrupted, gently but firmly. Humiliation isn't what happens when truth shows up. It's what happens when lies collapse. She blinked, unsure how to respond. Do you know, I continued, for 3 years my credit score was tied to your other daughter's unpaid bills? I didn't do it out of pride. I did it out of habit. And I'm done. Mom looked down, her voice small. I didn't realize how much you were covering. That's the thing, I said softly. You didn't ask. No one ever does. She nodded, eyes misting. I'm proud of you. Just maybe give Jade time. I'm not taking her time, I said. I'm taking back mine. She smiled weakly, then hugged me. You sound like your father when he finally retired. Maybe that's the point, I said. He stopped working for free too. That evening, Daniel and I hosted a small sprinkler splash in the backyard for Theo. No brands, no banners, just laughter. The hose arched a silver rainbow in the air, and Theo ran through it squealing, sunlight glittering off every drop. Daniel grilled chicken. I made lemonade. Our tiny yard smelled like summer and peace. Halfway through, my phone buzzed. A new message from Jade. I transferred the rest. We're fine now. Please stop making me the villain. I stared at the screen for a moment before typing back. I never made you the villain, Jade. You just finally met a story you couldn't edit. No reply. Just the faint read notification, then silence. Later, after Theo fell asleep, I stood outside under the porch light. The air was cool, the kind that feels earned. Daniel came up behind me, slipping his arms around my waist. So, how's it feel? Like the world finally fits, I said. He nodded toward the stars. You didn't lose family, you just recalibrated it. Yeah, I said quietly. Boundaries aren't revenge. They're instructions for how to love me right. He kissed the top of my head. And if they still don't listen? Then I'll love them from a distance, I said. Distance doesn't mean I stopped caring. It means I stopped bleeding. We stood there in the hush, the yard damp with sprinkler mist, the smell of wet grass everywhere. For the first time in years, my life wasn't running on someone else's account. Everything, the water, the light, the peace, belonged to me. And I intended to keep it that way.